This week in the parish of bourses and market structure, Euronext bids for ATHEX TASE moves Monday to Friday. SEBI creates a Jane Street crisis, and it's the floor's day in court. My name is Patrick L. Young. Welcome to the Bourse Business Weekly Digest. It's the Exchange Invest Weekly Podcast, episode 303. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is a very brief reduction of highlights amongst the key headlines from the week in market structure. All the analysis of the many events and happenings from the past 7 days can be found in Exchange Invest Daily Subscriber Newsletter, the unique guide to the Bourse business sent daily to your inbox. More details at exchangeinvest.com. Over in bid carnage, Chinese officialdom have issued an edict which shows the official party line, even from a progressive city up close to the SAR, such as Shenzhen, issuing a warning over stablecoin scams and illegal crypto fundraising. You should have a rational investment mindset, goes the missive from the Shenzhen authorities. If you enjoyed this excerpt, you may be interested to know you can read Bit Carnage every day in Exchange Invest. Alternatively, if you want to follow Bit Carnage, the daily update on happenings in the world of crypto and digital assets, you can find Bit Carnage as a standalone on Substack. This week in exchanges, top financial industry group urges scrutiny of IEX's options exchange proposal. SIFMA has added its concern to Citadel's worries, and the concern is also the whole vested interest farrago of the existing broker-dealer and indeed payment for order flow farrago. Meanwhile, there was a brutal put down by Victor Riparbelli, the co-founder and CEO of AI avatar unicorn Synthesia this week, in the context of the festering London Stock Exchange. Quote, "We have a big problem in Europe. We don't have a stock exchange that is attractive to list on." The tragedy is here we're hearing the same tales of woe daily now, and there's just no impetus on LSEG or its LSE division to actually turn this around. Old school floor traders find to get their day in court against the CME, goes the headline in the Wall Street Journal. I have no comment or insight to make on this particular action, but would note there are two specific previous cases of floor traders suing over floor disclosures and the move to electronic trading. First up, the French Matif local sued Paris Bourse and the then nascent Euronext at the Paris, Amsterdam, Brussels stage, which was seeking a listing. The listing happened in 2001 after out of court Paris Bourse made a settlement with the floor traders. Many of those floor traders would decamp to the world's last francophone floor, Montreal. Montreal then announced it was going to close the floor, at which point in time the floor traders sued. This was a utterly different situation, and Bourse de Montreal went to court where the locals' claims, including they kinda didn't know floors could be closed, were all thrown out by a judge. Fun footnote, the expert witness at the Cour Supérieure de Québec in Montreal was yours truly, Patrick L. Young. Meanwhile, Hong Kong's first half IPOs have soared eightfold, returning Hong Kong exchanges to the world's top spot for capital. Hong Kong exchanges leading in actual capital raised at $13.5 billion. LSEG Refinitiv data marks Nasdaq second at $8.85 billion for cash raised, alongside the most IPOs, 72, tying with fourth placed NSE India. Albeit OMX also had 4, so that is Nasdaq Group 2, but not included in this branch of Refinitiv statistics. NYSE comes in third with a handy $7.52 billion raised. The Jane Street saga has dominated a great deal of discussion in Exchange Invest this week. Thus, SEBI have accused Jane Street, the market maker proprietary trading group, of excess profits and market manipulation. Jane Street is a bit like the SAS, the crack British military. Their options are to get into small gaps, deliver the appropriate payload, and get out again without being noticed. Thus, market manipulation is not their world. They want to exploit anomalies that are essentially static, not actually move markets. So, SEBI look to have been offended at Jane Street's profits, which came to light in a court case about who had the IP to what trade, and so SEBI have adopted a scattergun approach, which could now come back to bite them. Questions are being hurled at oversight failures by the exchange's SROs, but surely given how SEBI only really chanced on what was happening by accident by looking at these court cases related to a fund called Millennium, does SEBI look like a credible regulator for the cases they bring? And we've yet to even get to the whole process of whether there really was wrongdoing beyond the SEBI Hindu rate of growth formula that only a modest profit is at best viable for commerce. Tel Aviv Stock Exchange, they are approving Friday trading. Thus, TASE moves from Monday to Friday as their week, embracing a move in the Middle East already undertaken by the likes of the UAE markets and obviously homogenizing with most of the world's markets in the West and through Asia. No results this week, no new markets either. It was, however, a reasonably busy little week for deals in the parish. All the deals were in Exchange Invest Daily, the newsletter a new person can afford to be without in capital markets and market structure. For the sake of this podcast, let's look at some edited highlights. 6 have completed their acquisition of Aquis to expand the European exchange business, and I'm very, very excited to see what 6 can do with the Aquis assets and wish Alistair Haynes, the founder of Aquis, all the very best in a well-earned retirement. Meanwhile, very interesting news. Euronext have pushed a bid towards ATHEX, the Hellenic Exchange's Athens Stock Exchange group. ATHEX's CEO, Yanis Kontopoulos, struck me as having a naked single ambition to sell the bourse, albeit I thought he might try to add more value to his business first, valuing the exchange at €6.90 a share. That's a premium to the circa €6 share price today, or €399 million. This is a big lurch south even from Italy for Euronext geographically, which could have synergies for the empire. Once again, Euronext CEO Stefan Bujna is showing his desire to bid and get the message out. He's bidding in the hope of shaking shareholders to do a deal. At the same time, ATHEX have so far seemed to say they were playing hard to get over an unsolicited bid. This week, we celebrated 1 year since we launched a special edition inspired by my visit during the closing bell at the New York Stock Exchange on July the 5th, 2024. Patrick L. Young's original bestseller, Capital Market Revolution, the first breakthrough book in fintech a decade before that word held common currency, has over 10,000 new words of additional pith, placing the past quarter's entry in perspective alongside the original text, which has proven remarkably successful throughout the years. Capital Market Revolution 25th Anniversary Edition is published by Exchange Invest and is now available as an ebook via Amazon Kindle at a ludicrously reasonable price of $9.99, quarter the price of the original shorter print book a quarter century ago. If you fancy some financial insights and moving pictures, check out our live streams Tuesday 5 o'clock London, midday New York time. It's the IPO video live show. Catch the back episodes on LinkedIn, YouTube at IPO-VID. And coming up on Tuesday, we've got another great live show. It's going to be our second panel. We're going to be discussing July, Jane Street, and all sorts of other interesting midsummer topics from the Northern Hemisphere. Join us online Tuesday, midday Eastern Standard Time, 6 o'clock Paris time, 5 o'clock London time. Our book of the week this week, Finance Book of the Week, is Player Manager, The Rise of Professionals Who Manage While They Work by Philip Auger and Joy Palmer, giving detailed case studies on professionals changing the approach to management. Over in products, well, another shaker of a piece of news for the London Stock Exchange. The largest single market cap on the FTSE, AstraZeneca, is in danger of defecting to the USA. The pharma company's CEO, Sir Pascal Soriot, has been discussing the possibility, although no decision has yet been made. This is not quite a Ravens leaving the Tower of London moment, but the wanton vandalism of the LSE incompetence masquerading as management is coming close to a moment where, like the British Prime Minister, they may find a push to remove them from office.
Thanks for listening to Exchange Invest Weekly. We welcome your feedback. You can contact me directly, patrick@derivativesvision.com, with any comments. Meanwhile, if you enjoyed this show, we would welcome you giving us a thumbs up. Or if you have time, a positive review will always be welcome, wherever you find this podcast.
Over in technology, the 4th of July rang out with a fascinating possibility. Data BP launches ConsolidatedTape.com to support a vision for a new unified US tape plan and an independent administrator. Fascinating development to the ongoing saga of the US CTP with sound thoughts from Data BP. Data BP CEO Mark Shadle, incidentally, was our guest on IPO-VID 71, defending the data economy. Speaking of consolidated tapes in Europe, there's a few sour grapes from the buy-sell side, complaining about a one-horse European equity CTP race, which is flawed. And that was according to industry expert, also well-known industry expert who represents the buy and sell side, Nikki Beattie, long poorly camouflaged as a Trojan horse for the buy-sell side's loudest voices of criticism. The problem is, flailing at the simple fact that the exchanges are backing a consortium to deliver the EU consolidated tape isn't the problem. Yet again, for all their noise, the institutions won't actually walk the walk, having talked the talk. They can't coherently organise a bid, but they are eager to disparage the one known bidder so far. Career paths, congratulations to Hong Kong Exchange's CEO, Bonnie Wai Chan. She's been appointed a Justice of the Peace by the Hong Kong Chief Executive, John Lee. And meanwhile, you won't read this in the Trump-deranged media, but he scored a huge success in Africa with Rwanda and Congo signing a peace accord in Washington, D.C. the other Friday. It's another feather in the cap of the whirlwind paced administration, with Trump confident Massa Boulos having negotiated much of the deal, which also helps open up some critical minerals and rare earths in favor of the USA, tipping a balance slightly away from China. And on that mysterious and magnificent note, thank you for listening to this Exchange Invest Weekly Podcast number 303. Join us daily via exchangeinvest.com, or if you need exchange you'd like built, get in touch. My name is Patrick L. Young, and I wish you a great week in life and markets.
This show relates to the business of bourses. It is not to be construed as investment advice, nor are we making any investment recommendations. Please consult an investment advisor before you make any investments, and for goodness sake, do your due diligence and do not make investments without complying with the regulations in your home state. Exchange Invest cannot be held responsible for any investment decisions made as a result of our program, which is for entertainment purposes only. The material herein is copyright Patrick L. Young at the date of publication, while our music and sound effects are sourced from copyright-free sources. Thanks for listening to Exchange Invest Weekly, the exchange of information.